The 12th Level Intellects podcast is hosted by the Watchtower Database. Visit watchtowerdatabase.com for more podcast episodes, videos, comics, artwork, and pretty much anything DC Animated Universe you can think of.
Only a 12th level intellect has the slightest hope of surviving what you are about to experience.
One, clap.
Okay, well, that's part of the podcast.
You froze on me. I don't know if it worked. Did that
Am
work?
I still frozen?
No, not anymore.
Oh,
Did you
well,
clap
yeah,
with me?
I did clap. I always
Okay.
clap.
All right, then I think it worked.
Okay. So, what's going on, dude? How you been?
Hey, I'm good. I'm alive.
Yeah. Why did
Happy
you
to be alive.
specify that?
Because I went on a hike the other day and I fell in a river with
Oh.
a 18-foot waterfall and then a 10-foot waterfall and then a 6-foot waterfall, and I slid down all three of them back to back in the span of like three. No, it was like probably a minute and a half.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Was
Lucky to not have a
fun
spinal
experience?
injury.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I was not trying to swim.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, how. Okay, you've. This isn't the first time I'm hearing this, but. I mean, yes, it is. Oh my gosh. How far off above the river were you to fall into the river? Like, were you up on like a cliffside?
No,
Like
I was like, so it actually was like kind of tough to get to the river just because I was kind of higher up on some rocks. So I finally got to the point where the river met the rocks I was at, and I went to rinse my hands, and it happened
Hello,
to
rocks.
just be
Whoa.
right. It was like just a couple of feet up from that 18-foot waterfall, and I should definitely have known better.
Did you shout "Cowabunga" as you were falling
I did
in?
not have time
Damn
to shout.
it.
By the time I was there, I realized
Well, you're gonna have to go back and try
I'm
again.
about 2 or 3 seconds from going down this 18-foot waterfall.
Sweet. When you described how
gnarly.
they were, what did you call them? Class 5 waterfalls?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
you're
the
a
highest
tour
rapid
river
that you
guide,
can do without
Yeah.
dying.
Nice.
But you can die if you're not careful.
You can die by breathing a tiny amount of water. So
I know some people out there probably would miss graphic content, but I'm glad I'm here for another episode.
you have an audience. It's there. There's some people. If you're listening to this and you watch graphic content, you're our favorite fan.
Yeah. And I will keep
just
making
you.
episodes for you because I'm alive to do it.
Yeah, maybe this is eye-opening. Like, yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't become like a I had a near-death experience. I've realized, the Watchtower
I thought
Database.
about posting about it on Facebook, but then I was like, you know what? I'd rather not talk about it as much as I don't know.
People are gonna ask too many questions, but yeah. But yeah, you didn't have a. I'm just gonna need to get rid of things that are cancerous in my life. I had.
Oh, I've
I
been
was too
doing that
close.
for the last couple of weeks already.
Oh, so where am I on the list?
We're about. I mean, this is episode 50. This is a big milestone.
No, this is 49.
No, it's 50. I thought we did 49 last time.
Let me make sure.
I think we're at 50. It's the big 50.
Not convinced.
I'm checking I'm checking Google Drive. Well, episode 50 of
Oh,
what show, James?
You're right. No.
What's our show
This
called?
is episode 49 of the 12th Level Intellects.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. I have a
We're
folder.
not episode 50?
48 is from the 2nd of August. And then we didn't
That
do
would have been about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Ish.
And then 49 is the folder I saved your talk with Rome in. So I'm 90% sure it's 49.
Okay. All right.
But either
So
way,
we're on episode 49.
it's a number that's higher than maybe we thought we'd get to when we started. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm James and that's Ted, and he died, but not really.
Hey there. Ted's dead. That's a
that's
thing.
the new
it
movie,
rhymes,
yeah.
so it must be true.
And James is...
Fames.
There you go. Famous. Jameis is famous. Too bad Ted's not famous, though.
No. I'm on IMDb. I bet my star meter's
I'm on
higher than yours.
IMDb too, man, because I put myself there.
Actually, I bet my star meter's lower than yours because it's better to be lower.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me find that. This is what people come here to listen to, is me typing in Ted
to see who's
Kendrick.
Star Meters.
Ooh, producer of the Replica Raid. Wow.
Yeah. Have you
Writer on Vireality. Wow.
That movie's trash.
Oh, man. That movie that you've seen.
I wrote it, so.
Yeah. What's the... Where's the star meter? What is this? C rank?
But that must be an IMDb Pro thing. You're not a pro.
Oh, no, I'm not. I can see your rank, though, and you are down 296,000 this week, so good fucking job.
Hey, it's not 7 digits.
Let's see, James Strecker. Oh, my rank has gone up 4 million this week, so
yeah, but
screw you.
Up or,
I don't know what my star rank is. You'd have to look because you're a pro and I'm not. But at least I'm famous. What are we talking about today? We're talking about you and Rome.
The Dark Crystal.
We're talking about the Dark Crystal, yeah. Who's Rome? Explain Rome.
Me and my buddy Rome Widenhouse. So he actually was my DP on the first Replica Raid movie.
Wow.
That you just
It all comes full circle.
And then he was my editor on the second Replica Raid movie.
We've
done a couple other film projects together. We're working on a music video right now for a band called Wyla. Music video is called Elevator Went.
Cool.
So that's Rome for you. He plays guitar and has a band called ZC. And
is it like ZZ Top?
No, like ZC, like the demon. You have to look up your
don't
demonology.
Know. Oh my god, I'm typing too many things. How do you spell that?
I think it's like a demon of fertility. Let's see. Let's look it up.
Okay, when I spell it Zicey, I just get some Twitter.
You gotta look in the Necronomicon.
Well, anyway,
that's
you guys talked about the Dark Crystal Netflix series
today.
That is coming out. When is that coming
the Dark
out?
Crystal. It's at the end of the month. I think it's the 31st.
Okay,
yeah.
And then
so
you also talked about
Crystal
the original
prequel.
movie.
Yeah,
right?
so we watched the original together.
Okay.
And then we talked about it. And had some really fun theories. That's gonna be in the middle of this episode.
Yes.
But I am pretty convinced that the Skeksis from Dark Crystal, they're these giant bird monsters.
Yeah.
I think they are either going to evolve into Gonzo from the Muppets, or Gonzo is their precursor. And
Isn't
he becomes
Gonzo's
the
an
Skeksis.
alien? So
so are the Skeksis.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe these
have
were
really
like
similar
ancient...
noses and similar
right.
little feathers on their head. And they're both... I mean, the guy who played Gonzo in the Muppets was one of the biggest forces behind Dark Crystal.
Right.
Which I forget his name.
Jimothy Henson.
D.
No, Jim it's not.
It's actually hold on, I'll tell you the actual guy's name, because
half of this show on audience is just us looking up things.
Yeah, this is the looking up episode. His name was David Odell. He was the screenplay
that does not ring a bell.
Well,
but that's Gonzo's voice. Okay,
I'm pretty sure I'm double checking, so I don't lie.
Or maybe Gonzo's voice and Gonzo's puppetry are different. I might have
lied. I lied on that one. Hold on.
Lying's a sin, Ted.
Just like my my episode on Black Hammer that came out the other day. I said Abraham Slam.
Smash.
I said Smash instead of Slam. And then I meant to say the Parazone, but I said like Protorealm.
Yeah, Protorealm. Like which is like I thought about correcting that one too, but then I wasn't positive that you were wrong about that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun just putting slam on screen.
Dave Goals is Gonzo, and he was also in Dark Crystal.
I believed you the first time. I'll believe you this time too. So.
This one's right. The last one I just said was correct.
Okay.
So
is he alive still?
I didn't check. Huh?
God,
you're making me
damn
open
it.
the page again? All right, let's see. Do you want to place bets?
Yeah, I don't think he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive.
Damn
no,
it.
Come on,
you want to place bets? Let me tell you immediately.
This is not a death episode, James. This is a survival episode.
This is an episode of Champions. What's Spider-Man? What's a Spider-Man? Does he MCU or does he not MCU? Who knows?
Right now he's not MCU.
Yeah, but by the time you're listening to this, it'll be fixed.
Again. Jeremy Renner posted on Instagram today basically being like, please, thank you, Sony. Please, we want to keep our Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Please, sir, may I have another?
Please, Mr. Sony. Well, there's a lot of memes. There's a lot of Spider-Man turning into dust from Infinity War and stuff. So I don't know.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, seeing as it's Wednesday, August 21st at this moment in time, and currently it's not. Sorry. Sorry about that. I was talking. Whoopsie. My bad. Sorry. I should have known.
My drink there.
Your Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, I sometimes eat the food. God, Spider-Man. He's currently the current situation is that maybe he's gone. I don't know. I don't think. I think. Well, I was gonna say maybe Sony's smart enough to not do that, but they're not. They're not. They should know by now that if they take Spider-Man back, there could very well be, I thought about this earlier, there could very well be like a uproar of like, don't go see the new Spider-Man movie from like people. That's from like MCU people. I know, but I mean like, it'll like, if they can at least barely make any money or something, like maybe that would be, I don't know. But I'm still going to go see it though. Like, that's the problem.
I never saw Venom. And I'm interested in seeing it, especially after the episode that we did where you described
the entire movie. Yeah.
So, but I saw Venom 2's being directed by Andy Serkis, and that's really interesting news. He has directed other things before. He was Gollum in Lord of the Rings, but he also was like a B unit director on The Hobbit.
Yeah, he's in the Black Panthers. He's the Claw. You're scared of the Claw.
One of the top people to have for CGI.
Yeah. So, but does that mean that did Tom Hardy, I guess you wouldn't know, but did Tom Hardy...
They would keep Tom Hardy.
I mean, did he do the motion capture for Venom in Venom 1?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking Tom Holland. Different Tom.
No, I was going to say Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Tom Holland's going to stay if Sony does another Spider-Man movie. But they're just going to ignore everything about the MCU and just...
I guess so, yeah.
Put Spidey in college...
No Stark Tech, no. Yeah.
I hope they don't do that. It would be very stupid on Sony's part.
Yeah, I wonder if Tom Holland would probably do it for money.
I mean, he would do it for money. He's an actor.
We do. That's why we do this YouTube channel.
We do it for money.
We do it for only the money and nothing else.
The love of the intellect.
What is something with Venom that made me... Oh, I should take the audio from my description of the movie to you and just edit the movie to fit that description so that you can just play that.
That'd be great.
So that you don't have to actually watch the whole movie.
You should insert that into the podcast where I just mentioned it and just have it sped up like 4
extra
times.
Time.
Just go through really fast.
Funny chipmunk sounds. What else is newsworthy?
I hope Disney and Sony make a deal to keep them in the MCU for at least through the end of the contract that they had. So, which is another solo Spider-Man movie and 2 more Avengers movies.
Yeah, I think 2 more Spider-Man movies, maybe.
Oh, okay. I think it was just 3 total, 3 solo ones and 3 Avengers. So he might be. I don't know.
We're experts, so. Obviously. I think that's the only thing I
read the
Sony
Sony hacks on WikiLeaks a few years ago. So
yeah, you did. Yeah.
know.
I know their ins and outs completely. I know
you can go on WikiLeaks and search Spider-Man Sony, and it's a read. It's fun.
Like you could just look it up. It's just there.
You can
look up Hillary Clinton emails.
Yeah, you can do that too if you want to. Honestly, though, it's the what is it? Never mind. That's off topic.
Yeah, let's not. That's the only thing I had for news because it's been the biggest thing.
What about Crisis? What about Kevin Conroy?
Oh yeah, everyone's been wanting us. It's been so long between podcast episodes that I forgot what happened.
That's why you jot the news down as it happens, and then when this comes, I've got a full list of things.
Do I?
I mean, it's not a big list.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is Kevin Conroy in the. Crisis on Infinite Earth CW crossover. There's
some sort of parallel universe.
Yeah, it's unclear whether it's a different Earth or if it's future of normal Earth or if it's what is it?
Batwoman's Earth.
Yeah,
could be cool. And Burt Ward is gonna be an old Robin.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess that remains to be seen of what his if he's gonna be in spandex, if he's gonna be just an old guy.
How old is he now? Like, I'm looking at.
It's odd to me. I'm sure that they've got a plan, but it's odd to me that Burt Ward and Kevin Conroy are gonna both be playing like different old versions of different versions of Batman characters. So like, you could either have an old Burt Ward. Like, I feel like you can't have Burt Ward in a Robin costume. So you have to have Burt Ward just like sitting in his library in his home. And he's just, I used to be Robin. But what else? Then what are you going to do with Kevin Conroy? Is he going to be literally in a Batman suit? Is he going to...
Burt Ward is 74.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to see a 74-year-old in little pixie boots and...
Well, not now.
I'm not really trying to see anybody in
you won't be trying to, but it'll happen to you at some point in your life.
I want to see him in more of like an Earth 2 outfit where he's got like the long leggings and he's
that could be kind of cool
Robin with the gray.
Yeah,
because he's got like the gray temples going on.
Yeah, that could actually be, because isn't Earth 2 Robin like eventually a mentor to like a younger Batman or something like that?
Or he's like that.
Yeah. So well, I don't know. They can do whatever they want. I think everyone's prediction is that Kevin Conroy is going to literally be like Batman Beyond future Bruce Wayne. There's a Photoshop of him with like Ace and the Batman Beyond suit in the background and stuff floating around, and a lot of people have seen that and think it's real, but it's definitely not. It's a photo of Kevin Conroy's face from like a press interview that's very easy to find. So I mean, that would be cool, but I'm sure that it'll be completely different than what we expect.
But they'll give you something fun anyway. I think this could be a really cool crossover. I heard that the Flash, this next season, I guess season 6.
I've lost track. Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, I think it'll be season 6 of the Flash. But it'll be like dealing with Crisis for its entire full season, essentially. Like, or at least Crisis will.
Well, that's what we've seen from the start with the newspaper and whatever of Flash lost in Crisis or whatever.
The beginning of the show,
yeah.
Although that was like a 2023 or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
For that, we'll see how they play that up. But then Arrow has a shorter season.
Yeah,
for this
because it's ending. Yeah,
it's because it's probably going to end with Oliver Queen sacrificing himself in the Crisis.
What?
Right? Because like the original 1985 book had Barry Allen and Kara Zor-El sacrificing themselves.
Yeah.
They were the two major deaths, and it's like
and that was kind of in the last crossover. You thought maybe they'd die, but they didn't.
But then it's like, this is the real Crisis, and if they were gonna die, it'd be this. But it makes sense they wouldn't, and that they might kill off Arrow instead.
Yeah.
So
what was the last crossover called?
It was Elseworlds.
Oh, it was just Elseworlds. Okay, because for some reason I thought it had Crisis in the name, but there's so many different crises that I forgot which one it was, but it's not. Okay.
I rewatched Elseworlds the other day. Not very good.
It does not hold up. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was cool when it was happening, but I haven't revisited it.
Yeah, it's like not good.
I mean, that crossover, I didn't watch any of the shows leading up to it because I didn't either. I had given up on the shows already, so I didn't watch this. I haven't watched any of the last 2 seasons or whatever. So,
why?
Yeah, why? Because it's
not good.
Not that great. Yeah. Supergirl and Flash have their moments where I'm like, this is a good show, and then Arrow kind of sucks now. The rest are just boring. I don't know. It's just Legends really not good. It's just very.
I've enjoyed what they're doing on the DC Universe app though. Like the I've almost finished Swamp Thing. I really like Doom Patrol. Young Justice has been killing it.
Yeah, those shows. Titans was Titans, but everything else so far that they've been put out that's original is better. I think. But maybe it's just because I'm refreshed on it. Like if those shows came out and then the Arrowverse came out, maybe it would be different. But I feel like I started watching Arrow because Arrow felt kind of like a Birds of Prey type of like, it's a CW,
right,
gritty, like dark emo superhero show. And then they kind of tried to turn it into more of a colorful, flashy MCU type of like experience. But it's just they can't get away from their moody teenager CW-ness, and it just kind of.
I like the Arrow sometimes. I think it did a lot of stuff well. But I have fallen out of it, so I don't know if I'll ever go back and finish it.
But I'll watch the crossover for sure. And last time I caught up by reading articles that have like detailed synopses of the episodes. I don't know if I'll do that this time because I'll have to do it for like the back half of last season and the front half of the next season. So I don't know.
What so I hear that, you know, with Arrow ending this season, that the CW wants to replace it with another show that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
What would be your pick?
I don't care.
If you had to pick something to replace Arrow, so like the same sort of tonality.
Okay.
Which I think that they want Batwoman to do that, but
yeah,
but I don't know if they're expecting Batwoman to really go very well. But we'll see.
I wonder if different characters from Arrow will continue in other shows. Like I would understand if like Stephen Amell, the character of Stephen
Diggle
Amell,
Stewart, maybe.
Yeah, right. If there was something continuous from that, or Black Canary, or whatever, or if we just never see any of those characters again.
I bet they could cross over. Maybe they'll do a Justice League show eventually.
Yeah, what's I can't think of a Green Arrow type character or just a Stephen Amell Green Arrow type character.
I've got it.
Okay.
The Question.
Okay.
Let's have a question show. We're the Blue Beetle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking Booster Gold, but I don't know if that's too similar to Legends because it'd just be a bunch of time travel.
Was developing a Booster Gold movie.
Yeah.
For the DCEU, but you know how the DCEU is about announcing movies.
You know how the DCEU goes, and you also don't know how the DCEU goes.
Nope. They'll say, "Hey, we're making a Booster Gold movie. Hey, Blue Beetle."
It's like
but
the other day.
They've all been in development.
I think it might have been the day you almost died. Maddie and I were talking about we should maybe do some like DCEU timeline or some sort of video just to see like how that does, because the DCAMU one we just did has done really well. And DCAMU is so stupid sounding. It just sounds like I was saying camel, DeCamel or something. That
DeCamel.
Adam, yeah. Anyway, but so I was like, oh yeah, that'd be fun. I probably enjoy those movies more than some people, at least like on artistic levels. And so I could rewatch them and take timeline notes. But I looked in like Screen Rant and IGN and all these big places have already done timelines. So I started looking at those, and it's like they just immediately all go like admit like well this stuff happened in Wonder Woman with like ancient Greece stuff, but then also Aquaman,
World War I.
ancient Atlantean stuff happened and they don't really mesh, but then also Steppenwolf, and like how does any of this work, like because no one talks to each other, no one decides the lore or whatever anymore, they just keep trying things, so it would be very difficult to include everything, and I'd have to do like a will it canon inversion of a timeline. I don't know.
And now we've got the Batman happening with Robert Pattinson. We'll see how that fits in everything. If Robert it does at all.
Did you see how I said bat there?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Well, I heard you.
Mm-hmm. You didn't see me say it. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, I did, but they didn't.
Oh, okay. I don't know what else happened in the world.
Lots of stuff.
Stupid things. Probably
Lots
a shooting
of things
here.
Are happening. Yeah. Yep. We're all here surviving another day in it. So that's great.
You fell down a waterfall. I didn't.
3.
Oh right, sorry.
Technically.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend Joe about like, because I just mentioned that had happened to you, and I mentioned it being class 5 waterfalls, and he was like, "Oh man, that's really bad." I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know the classifications of waterfalls. He's like, that's like the worst waterfall. That's like the top waterfall. And I was like, what? But what's Niagara Falls? And he's like, no, I mean, like,
no,
it
6.
has to be
6
ones
is
that
the worst.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it goes to a 5 if someone goes down and lives.
Okay. that's the classification, not like a size or a current or anything. It's like, did you die? Okay, it's class 5.
Has anyone ever made it and not died? Okay, it's a 5. But like most people die, but still a 5.
We just discovered a brand new waterfall. How do we classify it, sir? What? Just pushes him in. Oh, I'm not dead. Okay, it's class 5. That's the only way
it's
to
classist.
tell.
It's definitely classist.
Yeah.
You know what else is classes?
What?
The Dark Crystal.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good segue.
It sure is.
Because you've got the Skeksis, those bird monsters, and they're talking with the ancient ones.
And those weird
and all those little elf
human-like faced elf
and they're little
things.
podlings.
Yeah.
The podlings are little dwarfy ones.
Wow.
And they have a great
This
little
all
party.
sounds really cool. I'd love to hear more about it.
I'm about to talk about my buddy Rome. I introduced him earlier, but we make films together, and here we are talking about the Dark Crystal.
By we, it means not me.
I mean, you worked on the Replica Raid too. Did you work on one at all? No.
No.
But you worked
no,
on
Oh, wait, no. Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
Remember
okay, I colored a
Rome,
door.
Rome does not want me.
Yeah.
Rome does not want me plugging beaters, but if you are interested in watching the short film, it's on my YouTube channel, Artificially Creative. And James did help on that film. Rome directed it, but James colored one car door.
I sure did.
Because we needed to change it from beige to black.
And then he was
James
like, "Hey, you know how you did that?
Since.
Yeah, you know how you did that? Can you color every goddamn car in every shot?" I still look at cars in real life and see like the outline of the car. Like I have to mentally outline it.
I'm so sorry.
All right, Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal. Watch my videos on YouTube later, and you can see James's great car rotoscoping. Here's the Dark Crystal. So it's me, Rome, and what's her name?
Lily.
Okay, I'll do a better intro than that.
Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 12 Level Intellects. We got a little special mini episode here with my friend Rome Widenhouse.
Hello.
You know me, I'm Ted Kendrick. We've got, I just forgot her name, you just told me.
Lily.
Lily. This is Lily. She might leave us. She probably wants to.
She will if she knows what's good for her.
Yeah, because she did just watch Dark Crystal with us.
Yeah, she was curled
Jim
up on the
Henson
floor
movie.
the whole time.
She was. She loved it. This is from 1982. Netflix is bringing it back. And just a couple days for a Netflix original series, Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. So we watched this and kind of prep for that. We'll probably come back and do a follow-up with that series once it's out. Yeah. I really enjoyed Dark Crystal. It's been years since I've seen this movie. I saw it when I was a kid. Checked it out from the public library. All I remember was the Skeksis going into this. Those like really crazy looking dinosaur bird monster things that they were the antithesis to the magician.
Yeah, the Mystics.
The Mystics. Yeah.
So the two halves of the same whole.
They were
separated through the initial conjunction, which occurred 1,000 years ago, split the whatever the master race species is into two halves. So it's
the master race species, huh?
Which are not from the world. According to the lore, this species came and defiled the crystal, or was attracted on account of it.
That's good that there's negative connotations to that master race.
Yeah, so
it's anti-Nazi.
I don't know if it has much to do with Nazism, but so the according to the lore, I guess the crystal is native to the planet, the same world as the podlings, and the story takes place on this. But
the podlings,
Did I miss
and the
gelflings? No,
they're the little dwarf-looking things.
They get kidnapped.
They look like the baby from Eraserhead.
A bit.
Yeah,
a bit.
Those are podlings.
So let's talk more about sort of our introductions to this film, because for a lot of people, this was a film that we saw pretty early on.
Yeah,
and that's sort of an interesting thing to me. It's like when you see this film, is it hitting you at the right time?
That's a great point. I think it hit me because I remember like seeing it. I was probably 10, 11 maybe. And I had seen Star Wars and stuff like that, so this like hit me in the same kind of spot as that. But seeing it now, like 15 years later, you know, I definitely had a different take. I think I enjoyed seeing like more of the sort of background elements and thinking about it in a more creative sense than a more like immersive sense. Because I was kind of nitpicking it this time around, or not necessarily nitpicking, but thinking about it in different ways than I would have when I was a 10-year-old.
So when you saw it that first time, have you seen it between now and then?
No, I don't think I have.
So that's pretty
This
interesting.
is probably my second view. Yeah,
I've seen this. I've probably watched this movie about every 3 years.
You've got it on DVD.
Well, I have it. Well, I found it luckily, but beforehand, I'd have to rent it. Of course, I saw this film probably when I was about the same age. I remember seeing Jim Henson's Labyrinth, which
with David Bowie,
and that film really freaked me out when I saw it initially. I was probably about 7, and I remember I was at this after-school program, and I had to leave the room because something about the way that the puppetry looked, and it felt very close to home, like something that could happen to you if you said the wrong thing. And so I needed to leave, and I was at this friends of mine's house, and they asked if I wanted to see it, or was like, oh, we're gonna watch Dark Crystal, it's really cool. And Jim Henson made it. It was like, and which was also freaky to me because I'd seen Sesame Street and the Muppets, and Jim Henson was always a thing of comfort. And so when I saw the Labyrinth and that Jim Henson logo, I was like, oh, okay, no big deal, it's fine.
Right.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Big Bird.
Yeah,
Monster.
and I was totally betrayed by how horrifying the film was.
Yeah.
But with this, maybe it was because I was a little bit older, but I was really blown away by it and felt like I got to see something that was really special, and I know now that it is.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else like this, really. We were making a lot of comparisons watching it to Star Wars, which makes sense because it was made around the same time. It was in between Empire and The Return of the Jedi, but just before The Return of the Jedi.
Well, it came out just before Return. So, and Empire was released in 1980. Return was released in 83. This is we saw on the credits copyrighted 1982. So
I didn't check the release date.
So it's sort of sketchy as to when, and production schedules last a long time. So who's to say really what ideas came first? But there are a lot of the major connection, of course, is with Jim Henson's work on Yoda and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So Frank Oz was the puppeteer for that.
I started the movie tonight knowing Frank Oz was going to be somebody and just trying to figure out which one. He was one of the Skeksis. He was the, one of the main ones who...
He was the Chamberlain.
The Chamberlain. He lost
the fight. He makes a certain noise.
Yeah. Can you do it? I can't do it. Yoda does that noise too. It's Yoda's sort of...
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. So it's the same. It's the voice and the puppeteer, and of course they worked on Empire. Empire had a much larger budget because they were riding off the success of the original Star Wars release. George Lucas financed a lot of that film himself. This had a much lower budget, but were able to do... I think they have the superior swamp scene, really. When Jen is walking through the swamp, it's
a really colorful swamp with a bunch of critters.
We get a little bit of time with each one. It really reminded me of a nature documentary, or maybe that movie Microcosmos from the 90s.
Which I was thinking because there was a British narrator at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, David Attenborough narrating this film probably would have been the most epic crossover.
That would have been...
But
missed opportunity.
They had trees that inhaled and exhaled, and they had little crabs. The standout scene, of course, is the critter that runs and hides in a little gully, and it turns out to be a mouth.
Yes.
And it's just sort of encapsulates.
It's like a giant Venus flytrap looking
mouse. Yeah, hillside.
Mouth.
And then there's all these little grape looking fronds that just start just moving in ecstasy. Yeah. What I can only assume is ecstasy.
It's got to be. Yeah, they were weird little reeds.
So Empire definitely pioneered some of the effects work in the puppetry with Yoda, which I think was very successful. And that's one puppet that they had to worry about. This had about 25 puppets to that caliber, and of all different sort of designs.
There really were. There were the two, what were they called? They were the main characters, Jen and
Kira are sort of elf-like, hobbit-sized creatures.
Right. And then you've got the Skeksis, which are these giant bird-like things, which I've got my own fan theory that they're related to Gonzo from the Muppets.
We'll get into that
a
little bit later.
Okay, it's just their nose. That's what started me that direction. And they're blue.
Yeah, particularly the Chamberlain.
Yeah,
but we'll get back into that. We also have
the Mystics.
We also have the Mystics, which are my personal favorite design.
I think they look like brontosauruses.
A little bit. They're kind of dinosaur-like.
You said a turtle without a shell and a really long tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they move about that speed.
And then who are those tiny little ones that had that party in the hole?
So those are the podlings. So that's another native race like the Gelflings.
Yeah.
Sort of maybe a less important, a less divine being, maybe. If we're thinking about Tolkien and the way that Tolkien sort of designed his races, which, let's be honest, definitely influences all of fantasy, including this.
Absolutely.
And then we've got the Landstrider creatures, which are the horrible, disgusting rabbit Salvador Dali elephant creatures.
Right. Yeah. What were they called?
I don't think they call them anything.
Okay.
I think they in production they call them Landstriders.
It was hard to not think about during that part because they look like people in suits. But it's people on the back legs and they're like leaning forward on stilts with their arms.
Yeah, there is and also what really doesn't help is particularly Jen's sort of his whatever puppet armature they put on the back of the character right then has this terrible rocking formation. Well, it just doesn't look natural at all.
Yeah,
like there are some effects in here, like for the majority of it, it's really amazing work. And of course, there are some special effects flaws, but a lot of times you don't notice that. The film actually moves forward at a pretty nice pace.
It does, except not the Mystics. The Mystics move forward very slowly the whole time.
But they get like one shot, like every 20
minutes.
That's
true. Yeah.
So it's just reminding you, it's like, oh, they're still on their way.
They're still making their way. They do walk really slow.
But it also gives you sort of I feel like that helps give you a sense of scale for the world. Like how far away did our character start? And you see someone taking his same journey.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a more direct path.
True.
Because they don't really have to get out of the way or hide from anything like he does.
That's a good point. Yeah, as far as the special effects and stuff that you were talking about, you in particular, I know, has mentioned, like, you recognized the blue screen effects really vividly. Like, you were able to tell based off the lighting. Like, this was in the foreground, this was a different shot in the background, and how they combine them together.
There's a couple rough portions, but there's something kind of awesome about the blue screen in this. It's really, the film is something that really could only be made then.
Yeah. They're doing it again now.
Well, they're doing something like it, but it's not going to look like that.
No.
We were just sort of discussing. We looked at the trailer for. I guess there was a new one that dropped about 8 hours ago. So this morning. Yeah,
today's the 13th of August. So the new series comes out on the 30th.
That's right.
Yeah. So
there was a trailer that dropped today, and we looked through that before going back to this film. And it could be the film grain. There's a lot of imperfections in the film grain. Or not the grain, but just like the quality of the print. And we're also watching it on a DVD. So it goes. It may have to do with the texture that is sort of inherent in film. And of course, this new series is most likely shot digitally. So it will have a much cleaner image. But there will be... one thing that I feel like is really inherent to this film is like the sense of texture that's on everything, because everything is in front of the camera. Even the optical effects, like when we say that, we're talking about matte paintings and blue screen projection.
Right.
And there is a fair amount of that. You can tell where it is pretty clearly, because the lighting on a foreground element will seem really flat and strange against the background element. But there are parts of the film, especially like there's this part where like at the end of the film, and I'm assuming everybody's seen it.
If you haven't, you should.
But I'm going to talk about the end of the film. So at the end of the film, the castle crumbles, and to reveal this crystal structure, which is all a model, and there's people superimposed on that, as well as when the creatures recombine, the Skeksis and the Mystics recombine, that's all sort of layers of these early sort of photographic effects. And our characters are on a blue screen, the characters that we've been following the whole time. Some of it looks kind of rough.
It remind me a lot of the 1970s Lord of the Rings movie.
So, yeah, that's interesting you say that. That's done a lot. That's got so much rotoscoping in it.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you at home, is when you take a live action element and you animate a 2D element over it. So a lot of that was rotoscoped, which is, I haven't seen that in a really long time.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it's amazing.
It's a pretty novel way to do things.
Yeah.
The design of, there's also this film called Wizards, which is this kind of crazy animated film. I can't think of who directed it or what it came from, but I have this book here called The Tolkien Bestiary. It's right here. And
it's convenient.
It's convenient. Well, I just pulled it off the shelf because it was right here. But there, so this illustrator also worked on Wizards.
Really?
You can tell because of his art. Just his art style.
Is that recognizable?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's got. I just really wanted to talk for a minute about the haircuts. On our characters are this totally like straight haired 80s sort of black.
There's some
gray,
bangs going on.
Tons of bangs. It's like that is a very quintessential, I feel, 80s like not an 80s look like pop culture wise, but the sort of Gary Gygax kind of ethos that all comes off of the Dungeons and Dragons and everything.
Okay.
It's all just sort of interrelated.
It really is.
It's very rock and roll. These guys, the Gelflings, have some pretty rock and roll haircuts. We'll just
the
leave
two
it
of
at
them
that.
that are alive.
Yeah, the two of them in this film.
Yeah,
the last survivors. Yeah, they just inherently they've got style.
We'll see more of that in the prequel, the Netflix series. I want to talk Gonzo.
Okay, let's talk Gonzo for a minute.
I'm convinced the Skeksis are either Gonzo from the Muppets' ancestors or Gonzo is their evolved self millions of years from now.
Or just sort of a more abstract version, because you know, we have to admit that, you know, Jim Henson Muppets look nothing like this. This is a sort of a more realistic, grotesque version. So in the Muppets
Can you imagine
world,
what Big Bird would look like in this movie?
So we'll just leave
Imagine
that and just continue on. But we were discussing how there was the film in 2002, I think. It was between 2000
Muppets in Space.
Muppets from Space.
From Space.
Yeah, I thought it was Muppets in Space too when I was getting ready when I was a kid.
From space, because Gonzo is from space.
And they never go to space.
Right.
Well, so the running gag is in the Muppets that he
doesn't know his species.
Yeah. Well, when they say, like, what are you? Because, you know, Kermit's a frog, Fozzie's a bear, Miss Piggy's a pig, etc.
Right.
Even Scooter, which is sort of an androgynous species-wise.
Scooter's a dog.
It's a gopher.
Oh.
Because he goes for coffee.
Oh. Wow.
So he's not really anything, but then, you know, they still give him a title. And
What's
Gonzo?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's whatever. He actually, Gonzo's origin is sort of interesting. He, his origin was from this like TV spin-off called The Great Santa Claus Switch, I think, and he was a frackle.
Really?
He was a matchbox frackle or something.
I've heard of the Frackles, yeah.
I've heard of the Fraggles.
You're right, I have heard of the
Fraggles.
Fraggles.
Came later. That was the television series after
the Frackles.
Jim Henson was real busy. He was a real busy guy.
Did he do Alf too?
Nope. That's different.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. It's kind of surprising.
I don't know who did that, but it's not him. But but in the same ballpark. So that was sort of his origin. Dave Goelz took that puppet, sort of turned it into
And Dave
whatever it
Gold
was.
is Gonzo.
Dave Gold does the voice of and performs Gonzo.
But he was also really involved in.
He was involved in this. He was involved in this film. He performs the ritual, or not the ritual. He the Gartham Master, the guy who becomes the Emperor,
right?
And drinks the essence and is
the kind of big bad.
He's got these quills, and when he gets aggressive, they kind of perk up a little bit.
They're perky.
But yeah, so back to the theory though, there is a striking resemblance, and we can't really discount that. We sort of looked on the internet a little bit, and we haven't really seen it. So you can say we heard it here.
You heard it here first.
From this
I
guy.
tried to look to see if anyone else had made that connection, and
it's surprising that there isn't that, because he has the sort of hook nose. He's blue. He's got these little feathery things. He really bears quite a resemblance to the Chamberlain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Character. So.
So you've heard it here. The Dark Crystal is related to the Muppets. It's in the same universe.
The same universe there.
Maybe even Star Wars.
We were saying that it might be kind of cool when the in Muppets from Space, when the spoilers for that, but also the spaceship comes down and they play Celebrate Good Times.
That's right. Yeah. It's been so long since I've seen that
Which
movie.
is pretty random. But like, what if the spaceship landed and the Skeksis came out? Like, wouldn't that be kind of an interesting crossover?
I'd love that.
Because we've discovered the Skeksis are actually aliens. They're
not from that world.
They're not from the world of the Dark Crystal, and
I've never seen their world.
But back to the sort of the Star Wars connections.
Yeah. Well, especially it was near the beginning of the film. There's one of the mystics passes away in his quarters, and it looks a lot like Yoda's house from Return of the Jedi. And he passes away the same time, or the same way that Yoda does in Jedi, where they just disappear, and then their clothes are left.
The clothes blanket just slowly
just
falls.
Sinks, just falls
with a little bit of I don't know if there's sparkles. There's a little bit of sparkles in this movie. I don't know if there is when Yoda just sort of he fades and then the blankets come. But
it's just
the lighting is really similar. And this film came out either the same or a couple months away or about a year away from Return of the Jedi. And since Lucas had worked with the Jim Henson Company on Empire, wondering whose idea that was.
Yeah.
I'm not...
Who came up with it first?
Well, I'm not saying who came up with it first. I'm just wondering whose idea that was. Maybe it was... I don't necessarily think that was like, oh, well, the director, of course, comes up with these ideas. But whose idea was it?
Yeah, because Frank Oz was there on both times.
Yeah, and I mean, and all the people who are involved with the film. Whose idea is it? That's become such sort of a staple. We just had it in the year of our Lord the end of 2017 that we had The Last Jedi. And
Yeah, that's right.
Which we had that effect again. So it's this the Dark Crystal sort of has its place in the evolution of fantasy. Interpreting ideas from Tolkien and Star Wars being a contemporary of it, which everyone is a little bit more familiar with, and a lot of people say that Star Wars is science fiction, but it really is fantasy as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's got a lot of magical elements to it, and
so the Dark Crystal definitely holds its place in the pantheon. Although it wasn't really as well received as we might hope when it came out. So do we want to talk about the development a little bit?
Yeah, we could. I mean, I think it's well enough received that now here in 2019 we're getting a continuation series on Netflix. So it's definitely become a cult classic at the least. But yeah, go ahead, talk about the development.
Well, there was some difficulty with producers because of the fact that I'm having trouble recalling the names. So Jim Henson wanted to produce this movie before he had made any Muppet movies. And the Muppet movies were produced by Universal. So is this film. And I think his producer is David Laser. David Laser said, you got to do a Muppet movie first because the Muppets were a huge global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And he wanted to produce this film. He had ideas for this, which was just called The Crystal. He had been producing these ideas and building this world with Brian Froud for a number of years. But they told him to do the Muppet, do a Muppet film feature first. If that was successful, then maybe he could get the money to do this film. And so they did some test screenings. Originally, the Skeksis did not have any kind of dialogue.
That would have been
amazing. They didn't speak English, so they were speaking this like crazy sort of gibberish language.
What was that sound you made again? It was a lot like that.
It was a lot worse than that. There was these long drawn out scenes, particularly the scene where everyone, like, there's a feast and they're all eating disgusting food.
Which you said that's Jim Henson's, like, he considers that scene to be his magnum opus.
Well, he was really into that.
Yeah,
that was an idea that
it's
he
great.
really
The Skeksis are just like piling strings of spaghetti in their face, and it's just like
it's
not
the grossest thing,
really
but they're all
gross.
wearing these really nice Victorian clothes.
It's like Shakespearean, yeah.
So
the big puffy neck pieces.
Yeah. It's this total contrast between like something totally hideous and something exquisite, but also becomes hideous as when it's put into that kind of context. But the producers, like, I guess, walked out of that screening because there was nothing there for them to latch onto. It's just like it just lost them there.
That's too bad. So then they ended up adding in a bunch of narration and like the characters would think out loud. Parts of the
more
film.
Or less. So I wish that there was a cut of this film where there wasn't like there's some moments where like Jen is walking around and he's like looking at things and he's going through in his mind.
Why am I here?
Yeah,
what am I doing?
Right, there's a narrator. It's overcompensating. It really reminds me of Blade Runner, where they had him do these. They had Harrison Ford do these terrible narrations because the studio didn't think that people would understand the world of the film, and it really just makes things terrible. You can see evidence of that in the director's cut where those aren't there, but Harrison Ford like did them so badly. He was hoping that they wouldn't use them because they were so bad.
Yeah,
he was like, they called them replicants, skin jobs, you know, and it kind of just reminds me of that. I mean, not that the actor doesn't give a shit and they're trying to do a bad job, but they have to do like what they're saying is so on the nose. So there's a couple scenes. There's the scene where he's sort of striking out alone. I think the narrator at the beginning is fine, and that's the only time we hear him. Like the narrator is at the beginning, and he introduces the Skeksis and the rituals and the world, and then he just fucks off the whole time.
You're right.
He doesn't ever
comes back. Yeah.
Everything else is an internal monologue from Jen. And sometimes there's that one scene where they're doing the dream fasting, and I guess they felt as though no one would understand what the hell was going on
and
when they touch hands.
Two characters narrating through
they're narrating and interrupting each other, and it's funny because they're supposed to be sharing their memories.
Yeah.
And getting to know each other that way. But what it really sounds like in the film is that they're just both talking about their lives and not listening to each other.
Yeah. I was thinking the whole time, I was like, that's
even though
when
they're supposed to be connected.
If you're talking to someone and you're thinking about, I'm just listening to figure out when I can chime in and talk about me instead.
Right. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Exactly. There have been versions of films like Star Wars Episode 1 cuts put on the internet where it's like the Jar Jar has been cut out of the whole thing.
Oh, you're just talking about fan edits.
Yeah, fan edits. So maybe there's a fan edit of Dark Crystal out there with
I think I knew something about that at one point.
I'm sure.
I was sort of I feel like a couple of years ago I was researching if there was something like that. The problem is that, you know, you don't have the film without the dialogue.
Yeah.
That's the original release. It wasn't released by Universal.
Right.
Before that was added, and the biggest thing was probably the Skeksis. Like the Skeksis do need to talk because we spend a lot of time with them.
We do, yeah.
We were discussing this too. Like maybe because they're villains, and maybe we spend too much time with them.
It made them less sinister for sure. I mean, they were still evil and they were, you know, siphoning people's souls out of them and whatnot. But it was like they were kind of comical.
Yeah, they're very silly.
Yeah, because of that dinner scene, I think was a big reason why they're silly. And then that fight was just kind of funny. They have these huge swords.
The swords resemble the calligraphy of
the logo
of the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, their swords. What do you call it? They looked very like pirate like in the way where it's got the
cutlass.
The cutlass around your hand. Yeah. It was kind of. I mean, yeah, they were very Victorian, just in general as a species. I wonder if that's some sort of commentary for like colonialism in a way, because they were coming down. They were never there as part of that planet. And they were all.
But neither are the Mystics, and the Mystics are very in tune. They're very
right.
much an allegory, sort of, and you would say maybe of a native people or the Native Americans. But it's really what you do with the knowledge. I feel like that might be more of the.
Yeah, that's a good point.
More of the allegory there, but you're not wrong. I think that allegory is not necessarily something that they were going for. With colonialism in general, but more of the duality. I think that especially the reptiles wearing Victorian clothes, I think was a big image.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people think the Queen of England is a reptile, a lizard person.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she.
I'm not saying she's not.
Yeah. That's fair.
All of our global leaders are definitely reptilian.
Well, what do you hope out of the new Netflix series?
That's a long question.
And it's gonna be a long series. I don't know how many episodes, but it might not be this one season. They might do more.
I hope that it's one season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that it's like a 10-chapter film
series thing.
It's interesting that Netflix wants to release something of this caliber.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they've done some original films. I'm trying to think what they've done recently that's been on this scale, though. I mean, I'd say, I don't know. Like, they're in collaboration. It's awesome that they're in collaboration with Jim Henson Workshop.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, one of their early projects, they brought back Star Wars: The Clone Wars for like season 5, I think.
But they didn't produce that show.
They didn't produce it. They just stuck their logo on and gave it a distribution platform.
I think they do that with a lot of stuff. Like, I know that with like Trailer Park Boys, like that was released on the what was it? It was,
well, maybe I'm wrong there.
Some Canadian network, but
they totally developed this show and everything from the ground up.
I don't know
for Dark Crystal.
Well, they financed it at least. I hope that it's a Jim Henson production. And Netflix can throw their money at some projects, but the track record recently with Netflix, what we might call Netflix originals, which I would not call this a Netflix original because it's an original idea.
But it is the first platform it's premiering on.
Definitely. Yeah. Netflix is producing this.
Yeah.
Which makes me optimistic.
I think so. I generally have heard that Netflix tends to back off on their projects. So, like, they'll throw money at it and just wait for the artist to make the thing and then review it.
So it's more up to, hopefully it's more up to the studio or whoever's doing whatever the project is to make sure to do quality control.
Right.
And Netflix might just produce it anyway.
Yeah.
I guess they just got the money to do that. I'm still not quite sure how they make their money.
It's monthly subscriptions.
And just everybody in the world has one.
I mean, a lot of people have it. $10 a month. You know?
Well, if everybody I don't know, is it like based off plays? I don't know.
That's the thing too. Yeah.
This might be one of those things that just makes money. But anyway, back to the show.
I think you'd be surprised how many people are on Netflix.
I mean, there's one subscription that I use, which is my girlfriend's family's.
Yeah.
And so actually, it's my girlfriend's friend, and so there's 5 accounts on it, and my mom, dad, brother, his girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend all use it, plus the 5 other people that are supposed to be on it already.
So consider maybe 1 account per family, right?
Right.
So there's definitely a few million accounts out there.
I'm just this is like a few million, just like $5
million, you know. Yeah.
Monthly.
It makes a lot of money.
I don't know. Anyway,
I think we're winding down here. You got any? I don't know. I really enjoyed watching it again. I'm glad we did.
Well, we're gonna cut through this.
Yeah.
So we should keep talking more than half an hour.
Okay.
Probably.
Cool.
Well, I still haven't spoken about what I want out of the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, tell me that.
So I really hope that there's that, like, the film is still really corny, like, to a degree. It's dated.
It's part of its charm.
Yeah, totally. So I don't feel as though the show being corny is something that's going to take me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there will be as long as there aren't characters that are doing like really dumb things, but like that happens in the Dark Crystal as well. I feel like the standard of the story is kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just more interested in exploring it. It's one of those things where I don't really have expectations in the same way as, you know, maybe some other properties.
Sure. Just because there really hasn't been that much Dark Crystal material yet.
There's a novelization. There's a couple. There's sort of like an expanded universe novels for it, which
really?
I only know about. I haven't read them. And there's a number of graphic novels as well.
Okay.
So there is some of that, but I don't feel as though like that's going to detract. It seems more like a blank slate. And I'm glad, like, as far as prequels go, I feel like this one has the most potential because what's left to us in the film is just so vague.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see that story. And it's not as important for me to see like Boba Fett's backstory and so and all these little things because there's really not that much in the film. Like,
yeah, there's really not like any. I mean, all the characters are interesting enough, but not anyone that's like they would stand out as their own thing. Let's go back and learn more about, and maybe the crab people, just because I was really surprised how easily they all just fell apart when the Dark Crystal was destroyed.
Yeah, they're not. They're just like made of hostile magic.
Yeah, that surprised me. There's plenty of prequel material for sure. I don't know what a sequel would look like. I don't think it would be interesting. I think it would be a very peaceful world.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the movie is to restore balance to an uprooted world. So it's interesting to see how the world became out of balance. So it's going to be sort of a tragic story. Everybody's going to get offed. There's this huge list of characters and character names and really talented actors who are part of this project, and a lot of them. Well, I mean, Mark Hamill comes to mind.
He's the only one that I know for sure, isn't it?
That's in
just because
Jordan Peele, I think, is doing a voice.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are the only two off the top of my head, but it's a talented voice cast, and we know that a lot of these characters are going to die in the show. So I feel it's going to have that sort of Game of Thrones feel where like anybody can go because there's nobody who's left other than the Mystic, some of the Mystics and some of the Skeksis.
Right, like 10 of them at the beginning.
I think there's 9. I think there's 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or like Rogue One, where it's like maybe it's a bit of a suicide mission.
Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know how we're going to get there. So it's possible that there's going to be tons of tension. I'm interested in exploring the world. I think it's going to be fun and weird. Nothing in film really looks like this. So, I'm glad that this project is happening. It looks like it's being done respectfully, and we'll find out whether or not that's the case. And it also just it's up to the show to like be a good narrative. What's cool about the movie is honestly that it's kind of so concise. It doesn't feel like a long movie.
No, not at all. Yeah, I thought it went by really quickly. How long is it? I've got it right. It is 94 minutes.
Cool.
Which is normal for a feature film.
Well, it was normal then. It's no longer normal, I think.
You think
now,
we're going longer in now?
I think
2
hours, 15 minutes is the new sort of epic standard time. This is probably the next series is probably going to be at least 8 episodes, but I hope that they
I would think so too.
To one. And I would like to see some of the Skeksis characters do some really horrible atrocities.
I would too. I'd like to see them get scary.
Yeah, because they're kind of goofy in this movie, and like it's okay for them to be goofy, but like there's not enough that they do. I think the essence draining scene. It's pretty damn creepy, but other than that, there's not a whole lot that they do that makes you really sort of respect them as being totally like.
Yeah, even their sword fight at the beginning to see who's gonna be emperor is pretty silly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It's a lot of fun.
It's not scary or grandiose.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It should be fun. I don't know if I properly introduced you earlier. I just said your name. How do we know each other?
We work on indie films together sometimes.
We do.
We talk about nerdy shit sometimes.
Yeah, like today.
Today
got a good.
It's been a very nerdy day.
It has. It's always a good day.
Yeah.
You can see a few of our films on my YouTube channel, Artificially Creative. At least I don't know if Beaters is on there, but the Replica Raid's on there.
Yeah.
So
we'll just talk about the Replica Raid.
Yeah, Replica Raid 1 and 2. 3's on the way. More about that soon. But cool. Well, thanks for checking out Dark Crystal.
Yes,
hope you've seen it. If you haven't, I hope you didn't listen to this and get all spoiled. You should go back and watch it, and then watch this part.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody would watch the end of this whole thing and not have seen the film.
Yeah.
What kind of person are you?
I imagine at this point people probably were like, I'm going to chime back in when this is over. Or maybe you skip the timestamp, but hopefully not. Anyway, it's not the best segue into the rest of the episode, but here we are. We're going back into the rest of the episode now.
You haven't had to do
now we're in the Protorealm right now, in between segments. All right, we're back.
We have to make the Protorealm something because you apparently invented that.
Apparently,
you're like, it's called the Protorealm. I guess it's like protoplasm or something.
Protorealm is,
I don't know.
It's the time. So this is basically the bleed of the DC multiverse. It's the realm that exists in between podcast segments.
Right, the Protorealm.
So we just got out the main topic, but we're not quite in comic relief or questions yet. This is the Protorealm.
Yeah, I like it.
Should we get there? Should we leave?
Yeah, we should get out of here. This is terrifying. What is that over there? Oh,
we're out.
We're
out.
Thank God.
Oh my God.
You don't know the horrors. Except that I think I'm keeping that whole thing in because so there's going to be 2 different sounds. Yeah, Horrors of the Protorealm. That's our new comic series after Legacies when we're 60 years old. Here we are in Comic Relief. You want to know something?
I'm so relieved.
I actually have something for Comic Relief.
Oh, really? I've got 4 things.
Wow. How about you do 2 things? I'll do one, and you can do 2 things.
I've got some short ones. I've got 2 normal ones and 2 short ones.
I'll step in the middle. So tell me when you're halfway done.
Okay. Well, I wanted to give a little Black Hammer recap since that graphic content episode just came out. I'm all caught up, and I've read almost every side series with it too. I've read Dr. Star.
Have you found out the answers to the questions that you had for yourself?
All of them.
Wow.
I know all that. I know them now. I know all the answers. Yeah.
To everything. I've been to the Protorealm.
I have, but not the Parazone. I met Abraham Slam, so not Smash.
Smash, yeah.
Yeah, so it gets really interesting. It's a great series. I've been really liking it. There's even a couple of side comics I read, Dr. Star, which is very much a tribute to the Starman book. There's a couple other ones called Sherlock Frankenstein.
Yeah, that came up when I was looking for pictures. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. So But I read Black Hammer.
Is it
45.
what I think it is, where it's a combination of Sherlock Holmes and Frankenstein?
That's what I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster. That's a very
good point.
distinct.
I think Sherlock Frankenstein's monster didn't roll off the tongue as well.
No, but that would clarify.
Is it the monster of Sherlock Frankenstein, or is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about the new issue.
I read Black Hammer 45. It was a miniseries I just read too, and that was set during World War II. Ooh. And it was basically, so it was a Black Hammer squadron, but they're basically the Black Hawk squadron.
Is it like the golden age of Black Hammer characters or something?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yes. But there's still Golden Gale and Abraham Slam are in there too.
Okay.
There was a really cool, so most of this story was like, there was the Black Hammer squadron and their fighter jets, and then there was like this sort of Rocket Red robot from Russia. It was very much inspired by the Rocket Reds. And they're like marching from Russia into Germany, and I just knocked over
my god.
Zatanna fell off the wall. Sorry, she's not in the comic. Okay, so
she was trying to escape.
The American pilots are coming towards Germany. Rocket Red giant robots are coming towards Germany, and then once they get to the German border, there's this giant Thor-like god just hanging out at the German border, as like the Germans were able to capture like a Norse god as
he's defending them.
Yeah, as the defense on their border. And that was the end of issue 1. But the start of number 2, it's like just like Spider-Man: Far From Home, where there's just a bunch of blimps projecting an image of a giant god at the border. But it was still kind of a cool gimmick. Yeah, it was a really fun scene. But yeah, I won't say more about Black Hammer 45. It was really cool.
Yeah. Black Hammer stuff. Are you just drawn to?
Jeff Lemire. He's one of my favorites.
Is Jeff Lemire the guy who also did the Watchmen like one that you did a while ago? What's that one? The Thunderbolt. That one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. No, that was who did that reboot? I want to say
because that's also a very like. That's also a very. It's not the characters that you know, but they're very close. Yeah. Like it was
Kieran Gillen who did that one.
Okay, right.
He's a good writer too.
Karen Gillan, actress from Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote this book.
Yes, but no. But yeah, I read another cool Black Hammer spinoff called Cthulhuese, and because there's Cthulhu.
I really like. I like learning about these comics when I edit these. But yeah,
he's got a daughter called Cthulhuese, and she gets picked on at school because she has that's got a Cthulhu.
Got a big squid head. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a really tragic character.
Does she go to school with Golden Gale?
No. She.
This is like a Cthulhu dimension.
Later. She went to school in like the 1980s.
Oh, okay.
And her dad.
This is a real.
Her dad was like humiliated by Abraham Slam. Yeah. It's not in the farm. This is like in Spiral City. Yeah. But he was like humiliated by Abraham Slam and just like a drunk at home, and was really kind of abusive to his daughter. And she ended up kind of going evil.
Cthulhu wasn't a good father?
No.
What the heck?
Yeah,
he looked like such a gentleman.
I know. You would think so. Well, that's Black Hammer. I also wanted to mention that I read 2 new books today, which was Batman number 77 and Superman Year 1 number 2.
Is the Batman stuff where now the Flashpoint Batman
City
is
of
part
Bane.
of things?
Yeah. Okay. He's running the city with Bane, and Gotham Girl is his own.
So he's like a bad person.
He's being bad. Yeah, he and Damian fight each other a good bit in number 77. And they had a thing. They were telling they were basically like, if any of the Bat family comes into Gotham while we're running the place, we're going to kill Alfred. That's been their threat.
Oh.
And so Damian comes to Gotham to challenge Thomas Wayne Batman, and they have a big fight. And like, spoiler alert, they capture Damian, take him to the Wayne Manor, and it looks like Bane snaps Alfred's neck in this issue. It was like a big splash page, and when they do it in a big splash page, you know that they might be serious. This is a mainstream Batman title. So it's like, did they just kill Alfred today? I know that's
go down in history,
Yeah,
until he's dead till they reboot it in a couple years.
Yeah, this might last through like the Batman Catwoman series or something, but like, I don't know what to think if Alfred's really gone or not. So it was
you're shocked.
Crazy.
You're stunned.
I had to mention that. I'm sorry to spoil it for you.
I think that was actually just a symptom of your
Concussion
head trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually read it.
Yeah,
I'm just imagining reading things in people's heads getting
it's just
snapped.
a cough syrup nightmare that you had.
Well, the last thing, Superman Year 1, number
Yeah.
2, was a really fun issue. It's at the end of number 1, Superman goes off to join the Navy, and so number 2 is him like going through all his naval training and whatnot. And when he's like based on some beach somewhere, and he's looking out the distance one morning and seeing these mermaids like jumping in the distance, and they're like siren calling him, and it ends up being Lori Lamaris.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Superman. He was like, they were boyfriend and girlfriend in the Silver Age, and this is definitely like he's obsessed with Lori for most of the issue. Ends up like leaving the Navy like one night, goes off in the middle of the night to go basically pursue her. And then when he gets to Atlantis, he's found like a giant submarine has crashed into the city. So he like becomes a legend because he saves Atlantis from the submarine. But then he's got to win permission from Laurie's father to date the mermaid. And her father is Poseidon, the Greek god.
Yeah.
And Poseidon
I was going to ask if she had any ties to like Atlantis or something.
It's no Aquaman at all. Yeah, everyone's like a half mermaid in this. Yeah, I was really surprised not to see. Yeah.
So they've got.
I know it's complicated. It's like they had legs, but barely.
Okay.
They kept calling him frog-legged boy.
I like imagining that a half mermaid is like the top half is completely human, and then the bottom
the top
half
half
is like
fish. Bottom half is human.
No, that's not a half. That's just a reverse.
That's a full mermaid.
That's
just an opposite mermaid.
I gave her a full mermaid. The half mermaid is like, because a mermaid is already half and half, so a half mermaid is like it's human all the way down to like your knees,
right.
And then fish. So you got the crotch and everything.
Yeah. So then you just have two. That's honestly kind of what it was.
They're just mermaids with dicks.
Well. Yeah. Yeah. Then have you also considered how centaurs have? There wasn't any centaurs in the book, but they have two rib cages.
Yes,
we talked about that before. All right, it's important.
You brought it up, and then because Maddie was
bring
talking
it up
about
every episode.
Maddie has his man character. Where the top half, I've drawn it for him, but I probably won't put it on the internet.
Top half is a man, bottom half is a man.
Yeah, but the top half is like a brawny centaur-looking strong man, and the bottom half it's just a like scrawny, like skin and bones man that's barely holding him up, and the penises are in both places. So
okay, that's good. That's good.
So it's all taken care of. Don't worry.
Wow.
Is that all 4 things that you read?
Yeah. No, I was going to talk about the new Young Justice episodes.
Oh, well, I
don't want to spoil that for you if you haven't watched it.
Yeah,
good.
this yesterday's I haven't watched. I've
There's,
watched up through.
There's only a few more.
I know the last one was they went to Granny Goodness's house and took back Nightwing and
nice.
Black Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they learn a lot of secrets in the next episode, and then the episode after that, they end up. They don't storm Apocalypse, but they end up fighting some Apocalypse. Yeah, it's the original 6: Artemis, Aquaman, now Superboy, Nightwing, Miss Martian, and I'm forgetting.
Well, Kid Flash would be.
Oh yeah, he died. Yeah.
I was going to say, is this too much of a spoiler? Is he back already?
No. But anyway,
do you think they'll bring him back? I think we've talked about this, but
yeah, eventually, yeah. But I don't think they're going to kill Barry Allen in a crisis. I don't think it's going to be similar.
No, but
in the latest episode, it started off with 3 Green Lanterns as well as Hal, Guy, and John. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, there's no Kyle. But then I was like, oh, yeah, because Hal hasn't done Parallax and gone through all that stuff. And
even though he doesn't Hal have the gray temples, right?
Yeah,
like
so he's close to looking like it. Yeah. Maybe they'll like do that off screen for the next season or something.
Yeah, I remember that thing that happened 5 years in the last skip that we did.
Remember Parallax?
Yeah, what good times.
Now as the Spectre or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Those are all mine.
I watched. I've been trying to watch season 3 of Jessica Jones.
I never watched that one or season 2.
Oh, okay. Well, season 1 was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah,
it surpassed Daredevil for me in terms of like, I think I've mentioned this before, but I usually end up judging shows and movies quality on like how many times it makes me go like, oh shit, oh my god, like like moments like that.
How many times it makes you shit yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Wow.
oh my, whoops, I poop in my pants.
Gotta
That's
go,
how many times.
Go get the change.
And that show did it 12 times an episode now. But yeah, no, Jessica
Did a lot of
Jones
laundry.
had a lot of. The season 1 had a lot of episodes that ended with me feeling like that.
Yeah,
Season 2
the
was
Purple
just
Man.
kind of like, I don't know. It was just
I
blander.
was anxious in season 1. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
while I was watching,
What's
I was like,
gonna
I need to
happen,
go
yeah.
back home and see what's
Yeah.
happening to Jessica.
Yeah, see if it's okay. Yeah.
I'm sure it was worse for you since your wife's name is Jessica.
Oh my God, you're right.
Her middle name is Jones.
Yeah.
her last name is Strecker.
That's it. You got it. That's all 3 names. But season 3
JJS.
has been okay so far. There's not really a revelation of like who the bad guy is or anything. It's just kind of like, I sat down to
I know
watch
the bad guy.
episode. Okay.
Ike Perlmutter.
You got it. Yeah. Yeah, he's the Disney guy.
No,
Right?
he's like the guy ahead of Marvel,
Marvel guy. Right. Yeah.
like Marvel TV.
Who doesn't
Donates
yeah.
to he who shall not be named.
Mm-hmm.
Old 45 himself.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, I tried to start season 3 of this already months late, and I got
The show's
like
canceled.
I got like halfway through the first episode, and something happened. I can't remember what, but I didn't finish it. And so then I came back to finish it like a couple weeks ago and couldn't remember what happened. So I rewatched the whole episode, but that was only a couple weeks ago. Today I sat down to watch episode 2, could not remember a single thing that happened in episode 1. So it's like episode 2 was all
you
about...
didn't fall in the river and get a concussion?
I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, but who's to say? There's
you
no
don't know.
witnesses. Yeah. I did just wake up on the ground the other day. Episode
With
2
some water in your ears?
that I watched today was all about Trish Walker discovering her Hellcat
Hellcat.
powers and
cool.
kind of like training herself and going on like self-imposed missions and stuff and realizing that she's not maybe cut out for this and whatever. But the my biggest takeaway from the episode was that they had a whole like montage of her trying on different costumes, trying to find her look. And they had to do the same thing they do in any of those sequences where they put on the classic comic book costume and then they go
yellow
like,
and blue one.
no, I'm not going to do that. And then, but they did
that's
that.
fun.
Yeah, but they did. You could see it coming a mile away. They did it. She also says "hell no" when she puts it on, like Hellcat.
Hellcat.
And yeah, you see, and but it just left me going like, hey, it's modern times. You can wear a costume in a superhero thing. You don't have to 2000s X-Men it. Like you can,
Right.
You can do whatever. So it was just kind of bewildering.
2020 Cats It
Yeah.
from the Cats movie.
Yeah, you could just be a CGI cat. I'm sure they have the budget for that. Jessica Jones, the
Netflix.
canceled Netflix show.
It's Netflix.
But I'll probably
But it
continue
is like
to watch
Perlmutter.
this.
All his
Yeah.
money was going to the president.
I'll probably Hey, don't bring politics into my podcast. We don't.
Hey, it's my podcast too.
Yeah,
This is
it's
a
true.
half centaur, half mermaid podcast.
I'll be the
over here.
bottom man trying to hold you up, which means I have a penis where my face is, but I'll take it. Yeah, I'll probably keep trying to watch it, but it'll be, I'm sure, again, like weeks between me watching episodes, so who knows.
Well,
But
good luck.
yeah, thank you. We have
should catch up on
several.
Young Justice.
Yeah, I should.
So
we
we
have
could
several
talk about it.
questions for everyone's trash,
Great.
so I'll get to them as quickly. We can boost through them. This one is from Dr. Winchester.
Quick idea.
What?
Can we go green and make it everyone's recycling?
Ooh.
We got to save the planet, James.
Everyone's
Everyone's compost.
paper straws. Yeah. He said, Dr. Winchester, if you could make a Teen Titans movie canon to the DCAU, who would be in it and what would it be about? Like,
Well,
so
I would do something they've never done before. The Judas
Yes.
contract.
Right. That would be great. I've really wanted to see that for a long time.
Season 2 of the Teen Titans show, the Judas
As a
contract
movie.
movie. Now they're doing it in The Outsiders.
Yeah. And
No, I'm just kidding.
no,
That was a joke.
I'd like to see. Yeah. I guess just the formation or like anything at all, because we don't know anything at all.
I'd like to see when Static meets them someday.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Have it be a Static Shock movie. See, I think that's how you could do a Static Shock movie. Maybe is Static versus the Teen Titans or something like that. Like, but do you do a Static Shock property post Dwayne McDuffie, or do you stay away from it?
I mean, I think you can, and they're trying to. They've been trying to do a live action movie for a while.
Right.
But
I think if you got the correct gang,
you've got him in Young Justice.
Yeah.
He hasn't been like a main character, but he's still in it, you know?
Yeah.
I think he absolutely deserves them.
Lego Batman. Does Jimmy McCoy exist in the DCAU? I left this one because I don't know who that is, and I'm hoping you do.
Oh, I don't, but I'm searching it. Jimmy McCoy.
I'm going to say no because I don't know who it is, but we could find out.
I'm looking. Lego Batman. It might be like a Lego movie thing. Hold on.
Jimmy McCoy. Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh, is he the new Robin?
I don't know.
In the Batman, Lego Batman?
I don't know, man. I really wish I had an answer for it. I can move on while you look. I can do a different question while you look.
No, I think we should just stall, you know? Yeah, he is. He's the very nerdy looking Batman. Or Robin.
Isn't it? I thought that was supposed to be Dick Grayson. It's not?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I mean, what
anyway.
do I know?
Yeah, we don't. Sorry!
Not canon to the DCAU, but definitely canon to Lego Batman.
Yeah.
Who we
you
know
heard it
the
here
DCAU Mixaplick is canon to that world.
That's true. He's always the same one.
Canon to every world.
Someone was asking that, I think, on the Discord the other day of like, so if I draw a picture of Mr. McYes, but like he's the same Mr. McYes, but like that was in Superman the Animated Series, we're like, yes,
absolutely,
of course.
Yep.
All right, this one is from Nicholas Universe. He says, I have a question. What are your guys' pitch for a DCAU movie or TV show? This has just happened. Mine would probably be a Robin show introducing the undercover secret Robin, Jason Todd, who is Batman's undercover agent, only at 14 years old, who would feed him info about Waller or other stuff. I would make Jason a Robin by the past 3 months before Grayson quits, and in present day, Nightwing and Tim find out about Jason, which leads to Tim quitting, and both Nightwing and Robin go on a journey to find Jason, only to find out that they are being followed by Deathstroke, or maybe Joker and Harley, but I prefer Deathstroke.
Me too. I'm imagining Jason hiding in Waller's laundry basket in her bathroom.
While
he doesn't hand her a towel. He doesn't hand her a towel. He gets a towel thrown on him when she's out of the shower.
Yeah, he's just like could have like various Justice League Unlimited scenes where we see it from his perspective. He's like, the whole time. Yeah, he's just like lying plank underneath Luthor's like Amazo 2 table in that room, and Waller comes in like to shoot it to smithereens, and he's just lying under there like trying to keep perfectly still and not die. And then just a bunch of different scenes. I really like that towel thing.
And then, like, maybe he hides in Waller's garage, and she goes to her car, and he gets really scared because he sees a crowbar on her, like on a tool.
Yeah, there's a wink to the audience there, a little Easter egg.
He's very scared of crowbars for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know what I would actually like to see, but I kind of like that, I guess. As a comedic movie.
I mean, I've talked before about like a season set in Justice League, like beyond, like the JLU from the Beyond timeline would be really cool.
Yeah.
Anything with them more. I think they deserve another story or two.
Yeah, for
sure. And then
sure.
like bringing in some of the original 7 and seeing them as old people in that
movie.
Like,
and it'd be interesting if they got. Yeah, she's not in the Justice Lord's universe for sure.
Jessica Cruz.
Would Superman be Christopher McDonald, or would he be George Newbern? Who knows? Guess we would find out. I put out a thing on the Discord asking for questions because we only had those 3, so there's a bunch of them. Cade Man, why isn't Static in the League during Unlimited? Because he is too young. Dentoon's comic, what's so sinister about Aglets? Aglets.
Have you ever used Aglets?
Yeah. Have you tried them, man?
Have you? Have you though?
You mean like the street drug aglets?
No, I mean on your
Oh.
shoes.
Used them.
Yeah, they're true.
Yeah, they're here
purpose is
every day. They're
sinister.
right. I'm touching them.
Hmm.
Their true purpose is sinister. I'm not sure. I guess they could, maybe because they confine you. They
They're wrapped in
contain.
plastic.
Oh my god.
They're wrapped in plastic.
Everyone's recycling.
Everyone's recycling. Everyone's compost.
Bob the random guy who changed his name to Watchtower Data Bob because I
Nice.
changed my name from DCAU Watchtower to just JT Strecker because I wanted to be more personable, and he had to go and change it to Watchtower Data Bob. He says if there's a Data Boy death match, who would be the last one standing?
Well,
so a
obviously
fight
me.
between you and Maddie. Why?
I mean, have y'all survived a waterfall?
Yeah, you keep bringing it up as a good point. It's a good point.
I'm not saying I'm invincible, but
I mean, you are like a foot shorter than me and Maddie, but I
I
don't
think
know.
that helped. I think it helped. There was less body mass to
Yeah,
hit
buoyancy, something like that.
data buoyancy.
I think maybe Maddie would stand a chance. He's got streets. He's been on the streets. You know, he's got the skills of a fighter. He's got the warrior spirit. I don't know.
He can tweet, yeah.
Yeah, the man can tweet.
I mean, make him president, you know.
Maddie for president, 2020.
President, he can tweet.
Yeah, that's the only qualification.
I mean, apparently.
Ian W. He's one of our patrons. Current Marvel / Sony news of Spider-Man probably getting ejected from the MCU. Yeah, we talked about that. Ian, keep up, Ian.
Ejected. That's a first verb.
That is kind of weird. Yeah, it's too much. There's no ejector seat in the Stark suit.
No.
Okay, let's see. They're talking about that for a long time. Ticket the Dog says, "What is your favorite DCAU Batman costume?"
Ooh.
I'm torn between BTAS and JL Batsuits. I don't like the TNBA one that much. It's too bland.
I'm thinking back on my action figure collection and all the funky suits.
Night Striker Batmobile. I've got
the one with the Batwing, like the little wing set that he had. It was a blue figure. And
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
little gauntlets.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I had a handful that were those weird like scuba ones and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I had one that was shown on the Discord recently. It was like he's completely like bright teal colored and he's got like white lightning bolts all over him. It was like a weird like I don't know. He's meant for some electricity purpose or something. But
I had a Batman Beyond that was kind of like that. But he had red eyes and a purple cowl and like a white suit with green aspects of it. He almost looked like the Batman of Zur-Enar.
the Batman Beyond figures were always like extremely muscular and weird and like not in the same style as the show, but they always had like the graphics from the show.
Firewall Robin or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that's probably not what it's called.
The Joker one that's
Freeze that was a giant head with the spider legs.
Yeah. And I've got a Blight that from that too. That's he's just a big green naked see-through thing. Oh my goodness.
He's like Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah, correct. Are there characters? This is from Marvel King. Are there characters you wish showed up in JLU? I know they had a lot of characters in there already, but still, more
the real Starman.
Yeah, the real,
not Prince Gavin.
Jimmy Robinson. I'd like to see more of the Dakota-verse characters. Whatchamacallits? What's
Tim
that
Drake.
universe called?
The Dakotaverse. Oh,
yeah,
Milestone.
Yeah, Milestone. That's something.
Icon and Rocket. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Just like they're in Young Justice a lot. Blue Beetle. Would have been cool to see a
Right.
Blue Beetle. Any of
Plastic Man.
Yeah, but we don't need too stretchy guys.
Right, that's true. Maddie Washburn, are you stand-up guys? I am here. Yes. Hello.
James, I lost you.
Hello.
Hey, you're back.
Okay, skipping that.
The elongated man was in the most recent Young Justice episode.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, guy calls him elongated man. He's like, it's elongated man. It's like, okay.
That Guy Gardner.
Yep.
What a kooky
What a
man. Maddie Washburn asks, are you stand-up guys? Yeah, I'd say so.
Washburn.
I mean,
He's
should
one
know.
episode away from being one of the 12 level intellects.
I
thought it was today.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be this episode.
Yeah. There's maybe I'll bring that up toward the end of the episode. Is the
Yeah.
the numbering. Watchtower Database is the only reason Rubber Band Man isn't in the league because they don't need 3 stretchy guys.
They don't even need 2. I just made
they
that
definitely
joke.
don't need 3. Dentoons Comics, since Martian Manhunter can shapeshift, does he count as a stretchy guy? He can shape change, you asshole.
And he's still a stretchy guy.
He's
They
he's
should
not.
have their own Justice League stretchy guys.
Yeah, the stretchy league, yeah.
It would be led by Manhunter, and it would have Elongated Man, Plastic Man, Rubber Band Man.
Rubber Band Man, yeah.
And anybody else? Madame Rogue, maybe, from the Brotherhood of Evil?
2D Man from the future.
She's a stretchy lady.
Time traveling. He got sucked into that fan in Heroes, and then he got blasted out into time. Yeah, Mr. Fantastic from Marvel Comics.
Yeah, crossover.
The giant snake from Paradise Lost.
The slinky dog from Toy Story.
Yeah, this is a great team.
I think we gotta figure it out.
Who's the muscle of this team? I guess it's Slinky. John is telepathically telling a toy dog, "All right, you got it, John." And he goes down into this. He's always like, he's always getting them out of windows and stuff. He's always pulling things out of windows and car doors and whatnot.
And then Jon Stewart arrives, and they're like, "What is this? We don't need 2 stretchy guys.
Golly, Bobby.
Why are there 8 stretchy guys here?"
Okay. Let's see. Oh, continuing.
Plastic Man's son, Offspring. I forgot about him.
What?
Guy. Offspring. Plastic Man has a son whose superhero name is Offspring, which is weird.
Dentoons Comic, can you help me on my algebra homework?
Yes.
No, I can't, for sure.
I can solve for X.
Maddie said, I just tried to do some in my head, but then I stopped. Because he actually sent a screenshot of his algebra homework.
X-Men solve for X.
Yeah. It's always 2. The answer's always 2.
No.
If I can get past...
No, it's not.
That's not correct, James.
It's 42.
Watchtower Database. I really hope the next podcast is just James and Ted doing high school algebra.
Honestly, yeah. That's kind of what's happening right now. Hey, I got one for you. 2x equals 10. What is X? It's an easy one.
5.
Yeah.
Damn.
You did it. Congrats.
I know the quadratic
3x equals
equation.
9. What's that?
3.
Yay. Hey,
I know that. Stop.
Great, James.
Listen. I know the quadratic equation. It's negative
so
b
more
plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over
PEMDAS.
2a. Yeah.
PEMDAS.
I mean, hopefully everyone heard that.
Let's
see. Is there anything else in
remember
here?
all my
They're just continuing to talk about algebra.
Do you remember Tinstoffel? That's more like geopolitics.
Okay. Gabby
There's
Ramirez.
No such thing as a free lunch. That's what
Gabby Ramirez says, what would you guys change about the DCAU? Like, what's the ideal DCAU in your minds? JLU that didn't not have Batman stuff.
Zeta Project Season 3.
Zeta Project Season 3. Zeta Project Season 3.
That's the main change.
And
that may be on Season 4. That'd be great, too.
Yeah. Maxie had said, change the Riddler to look like he did in The Batman. And that's it. No, thank you. Gamora, this is the last one. Gamora, if Terry and Bruce Wayne had a tequila drinking contest, who would win? How many deer... Oh, sorry, this is 2 questions. Okay, so if Terry and Bruce Wayne had a tequila drinking contest, who would win? Probably Bruce, but he might have liver failure, so maybe he would lose. I don't know.
Well, it depends. Does this bottle of tequila have a scorpion at the bottom of it? Because most do. Not all of them, and not even most of them, but some do. And Bruce has built up his body against antitoxins for the longest time.
Right, yeah.
So
I'd also have to assume during all his worldly travels, he's probably
Terry's
had a
also
bunch
underage.
of drinking content. Yeah, I was just about to say, Terry's like maximum 18 or something by the end of the show. So
but for all we know, drinking laws have changed by the future.
If it's epilogue versions of these characters, Terry definitely wins because Bruce is going to die any second.
And if you can die for your country, you can drink for your country.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said.
That's the rule. The second question, how many deer could an unarmed, no power ring Jon Stewart take on in a fight before he is overwhelmed?
Like reindeer?
Yeah,
flying
DER. I don't know why this is a question, but it's fucking great. How many deer?
Do you know what you call a deer with no eyes, no mouth, and no feet?
I don't.
I have no idea. I got no idea.
I'd say at least 2. So this is like a Jon Stewart
I'm
with...
sorry.
Let me get this straight.
What's the scenario again? So
Okay.
Jon Stewart's got a fully charged power ring.
No.
He's got
No power ring, unarmed
No
completely.
power ring.
How many deer could he take
he
on
only
before
has 2
he's
legs
overwhelmed?
and stumps for arms.
Yeah, I think that's
No
what they mean.
arms.
Yeah, he doesn't have any arms either. So yeah, I guess.
Just 2 legs, a head. How much hair does he have? Is this like bald Jon
Yeah,
Stewart?
it's
The
just
goatee?
JLU. Yeah,
Yeah, which
it
Jon Stewart
depends.
hairstyle is this?
I think it must be post goatee because
Yeah.
when did he lose his arms? We didn't see that. He had
Post
arms.
goatee. So you think this is after jail? Yeah, you're right. So maybe he shaved his goatee and his head.
Yeah, and his
Do you think
arms
he can blend
clean
in
off.
with them? Do you think he can blend in with the deer and then assimilate into their culture and then take them down?
And
from
then
the
just
inside?
just to take them down one by one on like a covert guerrilla tactic.
I bet he's able to use his mouth to collect a bunch of ticks, and then when he gets to the deer society, he just releases all the ticks at the deer.
Why is this a question? Why is this a thing?
Figured out that I've got the answer.
So it's any amount. It's all
Yeah,
the deer.
as long as he can keep the ticks in his mouth.
The ticks,
Or he can use his feet. He could maybe get like a big foot full. Like use one foot like a hand.
Yeah.
And just get a bunch of that one.
Fill his foot with
Maybe he
ticks.
can just take get the ticks with his feet and put them in a bucket.
Yeah.
And then just drag it behind him with one of his feet, or maybe wear it around his neck.
How do you get it on his neck?
He ducked his head
Oh, okay, yeah.
under,
I see.
kind of a.
Where did he get the bucket?
The kind of motion.
Did he come with a bucket?
From the store, James.
He just goes, an armless, goatee-less Jon Stewart goes into the store. He says, get me a bucket. I got to kill a bunch of deer. And they're like, oh, sounds
ticks.
reasonable.
I've got to collect a
Yeah.
bunch of ticks first to kill a bunch of deer because that is what must happen.
Oh, boy.
But
well,
they are deer, though, that must have been like coerced by the Sinestro Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or the red
the
lanterns.
deer, we failed to mention the deer have fully charged power rings. So
They work for Sinestro.
It adds an entire another level to this. Okay, this has been 12th Level Intellects. Thank you for listening. I hope you had a good time. 'cause
Blackest
we
day and
did.
brightest night.
Yeah, we got to come up with the deer core oath.
No tick shall escape my sight.
That's just what John is saying to himself to keep him in the zone as he's
For
looking
those
for
who
tick.
guide Santa on Christmas night.
Oh no! Beware my power Rudolph's light. Yeah. It's the Rudolph core. Oh my God! Okay, the show's over. This podcast is out whenever we feel like it, because sometimes we do it live and sometimes we don't. I was gonna mention. Yeah, we Ted and I have been talking about the future of the podcast. We're probably going to get to episode 52 so that we've done roughly a year. It would be exactly a year, if
2
not for the
years.
fact that I think we're like...
Exactly
that's
2
what I mean.
years.
Sorry, 2 years, yes.
We've done it bi-weekly.
Because bi-weekly geekly. I think that we're off by a couple weeks at this point, so it wouldn't be exactly 2 weeks or 2 years, but it will be close.
Close enough.
And that will hopefully be Maddie's inauguration right before we decide to not do it for a little bit.
52.
52.
So we'll
It's
inaugurate
also
him
a
and then
number-
we'll cancel the show. Back
What?
to back. Not
Yeah,
cancel
yeah.
the show, but take a hiatus.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably because
Yeah.
it's just 3 is a crowd.
Right. So yeah, we got to have our Flashpoint style reboot after 52 episodes.
It'll be the new
So that-
52.
and we will have the new 52. Yeah. We should just always do 52 episodes and then reboot it in some fashion.
The newer
but
52.
yeah, the reason why the main reason why we're doing that is because the viewership on this, there is a solid core viewership for this that we
a reindeer
definitely
core.
don't want to take it away. Hey,
Rudolph core.
but we the solid core, but we don't want to. So we don't want to get rid of it, but we're trying to figure out better or ways to make it better, ways to make it more
Quote unquote better.
yeah, things that people would enjoy more.
Be
So
bad
if
at
you
being
have-
better.
If you have ideas, if you're listening to this, and you
Ideas.
have ideas on how to how to up the
I'm bad.
game
I'm
a little
bad.
bit. Format changes or time changes, or maybe get rid of James and have it only be Ted. Anything like that. Just throw it at us. You can email us at info@watchtowerdatabase.com. You can @ us on various social media, DCAU Watchtower. That's also how you can send stuff in for everyone's recycling.
Everyone's compost.
I want to give a shout out to Adam Mullen for the music at the top of this. He's at musica-atomica.com. Also shout outs to the Echidna Power and Orion the Starhog. They've been helping us with the live shows. Remains to be seen how much we'll be doing. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be just this was not a podcast originally even, so it'll come back in some form. Thank you for listening. This is on iTunes and YouTube and WatchtowerDatabase.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything, including all of the cool videos we're doing on stuff. They've got like a storyline running through it that Maddie and I are concocting that I won't reveal.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, Ted's part of it, but he's just he's doing what he is instructed to do.
They just tell me what to do, and I do it.
Yeah, that's mostly it's because like every day, almost Maddie and I will be like, "Oh shit, what if we added this cool ass thing?" And then we do that.
I'm
so
just glad that the stuff with the geese didn't happen. I don't know. I think I don't even know what that was truly about. But
well, that was from the video where you and I meet for the first time. I was talking about how you had an underground goose smuggling operation in the 50s or something. Stop. Oh, sorry.
Come on.
That was on the download. Yeah, I also didn't know what any of that goose stuff was.
Ducked it all up, James.
Sorry, I can edit this part out. I won't. Patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. You can vote for videos. You can see videos a day early most of the time. And you can
throw us your goose money.
You can give us money there. That's what it is. That's Patreon. There's a Loot Crate affiliate code in the description of this video. If you want to buy a Loot Crate, if you're thinking about it, you're like, Loot Crate looks cool. Click the link in our description to go buy it, and then we get a little tiny bit of that money. And there's also what?
What do you get?
You'd also get a Loot Crate. Whatever you want. Yeah, Pirate's Booty. Flute. Yeah, we should start Flute Crate.
Oh, that's cool.
Where you get a new flute, a brand new, really expensive flute every single month.
Champagne flute. It could be different types of flutes.
Okay, yeah, it'll always be different flutes. I got it. Yeah, this is
flutes and
we're gonna stop the 12th Level Intellects podcast so that we can do Flute Crate. It's our new genius business plan.
In our business.
Yeah,
FluteCrate.com. Get all the flutes.
Someone's gonna take that now. No one's gonna take that. Teespring.com/stores/DCAU Watchtower. That's where you get our t-shirts. That's where you get those phone cases.
It may be Teespring, but don't you want a nice new shirt for the fall?
Yeah, T-fall, T-winter. You get the sweatshirts for winter. I think that's all the stuff that I have to say. So, do you have any closing thoughts?
I got nothing. But if y'all, I don't know, stay dry. Just stay dry.
Don't fall. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Keep your head up, guys. You got this. Go out there and seize that dry day of life.
Okay, that's the end of the episode. Goodbye.
No offense, but I really don't think you could follow the reasoning of a 12th level intellect such as my own.
Guess not.
The 12th Level Intellects podcast is hosted by the Watchtower Database. Visit watchtowerdatabase.com for more podcast episodes, videos, comics, artwork, and pretty much anything DC Animated Universe you can think of.